think my favorite part of the Scotland trip was our first couple days in Edinburgh. We stayed in a youth hostel, and it was actually pretty nice. And it was really nice to sleep in a normal bed after 10 plus hours of travel that day. And there was a lot of cool sightseeing places and stuff like that. There was the Edinburgh Castle, of course, which is the main tourist attraction. It was really interesting to see. Diana and I got to be part of a reenactment of sorts. We got helmets and pikes and learned how to be scary and stuff. And around our hostel there is this one really old bookstore. Like, the books are really old. There is someone got one from, I think, 1823. So that was also a really cool experience to see. And in general, the town was or the city, I suppose, was really pretty. And the old stone buildings were a lot different from the new modern ones we see here.
We started off on an early morning in Edinburgh, getting up, taking a long string of buses and trains. Then somehow we managed to get to this ferry that we made it on time for. It was we were all kind of stressed out about making all these deadlines, because then we would have missed the one ferry of the day. But we made the ferry, and it trucked us over to Big Orkney Island, and we all settled into our little... There was a really nice houses that we had, yeah. One highlight of this trip, I think, was this one day we were all in the tour bus just driving around the main Orkney Island, and we saw all these different historical sites. There was Skara Brae, it was like super old, one of the first civilizations there, I believe, and just to see that these buildings had survived the test of time, it was very cool. We hopped in the bus and we saw some more things like this. It looked like Stonehenge. There were these huge rocks that were just sticking out of the dirt, and I think I licked one at some point just to get the taste of history. And it was just, I think we were all kind of just like almost blown away a little bit by how do people get these rocks in the dirt like that, right? And then there was a chapel. I thought the chapel was very impressive. It was built by prisoners who had just collected whatever materials they could find and build a chapel, and there was some guy that did art and some guy that did metalwork, and together they all produced something amazing. Yeah. And it was a great bonding day. We all bonded down that day.
The ferry was really cool, and all the trains we went on, just like seeing the nature.
We took the ferry back, and then a train and a bus and van and all these kind of things to get to Findhorn. Very few people, it seems like in this area, have much interest or concern about climate change. And I have felt, because we're education for life, it is about preparing kids for whatever comes. And climate change is going to be a huge challenge. And it already is starting to present itself as such in certain places. And therefore, we're sort of obliged. It's part of our work to help kids to become more aware of it. Then they decide what to do. But if they're interested, to develop other tools and abilities to deal with changes. So it could be a really positive thing to go and get some information about that. So we went to Scotland, and there it was, the Climate Change Conference, and in Findhorn, in Scotland. What a beautiful combination. And it was that reason that I went to the Climate Change Conference.
Enjoyed meeting a lot of new people from all around the world.
Meeting kids from other countries and just getting to know them.
Just getting to know other people, and it felt like I was more so talking to friends rather than like strangers.
Seeing how life is different in other places and how it's similar.
I think that That was a pretty good experience. I was able to get more experience out of it that I otherwise would not have.
I think, well, at this age, we're just changing no matter what. So in 2 weeks, I would have changed no matter what. But I think that the way I was influenced through this trip was somewhat influential. Like, just the constantly having my impact in my brain. Like, I was just thinking, like, oh, you know, even though these adults aren't really giving me solutions, I still am just, like, absorbing that, oh, everything I do every day has some sort of impact on the earth. And now I think, like, when I buy a granola bar, I think, like, oh, this is covered in plastic, you know, and then I think, okay, I have these 2 jars I can pick from. One is plastic and one is glass, so I'll take the peanut butter in the glass jar now. And I think that's something that I think has changed in my life after this experience.
I think it definitely had like some impact, because now I definitely think more about what I'm doing. Even if I'm not like actively out fighting climate change, I'll be like, oh, I should, you know, turn off the water when I'm brushing my teeth, or like I should use less plastic, or, you know, if I see trash on the ground, I'll be like, ooh, I should pick that up. Yeah. So I think it's just kind of affected me in smaller ways of being more mindful.
I'm definitely like more aware of the plastic I use and just like how I'm recycling and what I'm buying.
It did open my eyes a little bit more to other issues I should be looking out for in my daily life.
I feel like I'm more scared about climate change, but I don't know if I'm doing anything that like is really different than what I was doing before.
I feel like I'm more aware of how my actions affect the planet now.